Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jeff Rudolph, President and CEO of the California Science Center. Thank you for joining us on this tremendously exciting day. Today is the 11th anniversary of Space Shuttle Endeavour's final touchdown, and today we are commemorating the start of construction of the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. In 2011, we were thrilled when NASA Administrator Charlie Bolden called with the news that the Science Center was awarded Endeavour. Our application was ranked number 1 of 29 museums in the nation competing for a retired space shuttle orbiter. Thankfully, that's working up. Thankfully, we were prepared for that moment. In our master planning process to develop a roadmap to transform the former California Museum of Science and Industry into the new California Science Center, we dreamed of one day adding a space shuttle to our collection of aerospace artifacts. We even drew up plans dating back to 1992, coincidentally the year of Endeavour's very first mission, to exhibit a full space shuttle stack in launch configuration. And now here we are, 3 decades later, on the brink of making that vision a reality. Since being entrusted with this national treasure, we've had the phenomenal support and participation by NASA, and especially at centers in California, several of whom are represented today. We've also had a wonderful outpouring of support from thousands of Californians who've worked on the aerospace industry and on many of these programs that we're showing in this facility. California Science Center attendance skyrocketed from 1.6 million to 2.6 million during Endeavour's first year on display in the Samuel Oschin Pavilion. We sustained attendance at more than 2 million guests annually until the pandemic. And we expect another big boost with the opening of the new Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. Here on this site, we're building a fitting permanent home for the Space Shuttle Endeavour to be exhibited in an awe-inspiring 200-foot tall, ready-for-launch vertical display. It'll be the only place in the world to see a complete space shuttle system with a flow-in orbiter mated to real solid rocket boosters and an external tank. All real hardware. To give you a sense of the scale, because everyone I talk to doesn't quite get it, the booms on these 2 cranes, the very top there, are raised to meet at 200 feet, representing the apex of our space shuttle gallery. I was pretty thrilled when one of our board members this morning said, I could see that from about 4 miles away when I was coming in. So it will become a landmark in the city. Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center will become an iconic must-see destination for visitors from around the world. It will give us a greater platform than ever before to inspire the next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers. We wouldn't be here today without the unparalleled support of Linda Oschin, whose transformational gift from the Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Oschin Family Foundation was the catalyst that truly launched this project. And her second extraordinary gift has now propelled us to groundbreaking. Linda, we can never thank you enough for your tremendous level of investment. We're deeply grateful that you've been with us for all of these memorable and exciting milestones and will be part of many more as the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center vision becomes a reality. I look forward to hearing from you a little bit later in the program. The Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center project represents the culmination of a 3-decade master plan vision for the Science Center. This significant expansion will add 200,000 square feet and nearly double our public exhibit areas with 3 major galleries: the Air Gallery, Space Gallery, and Shuttle Gallery. A distinctive collection of 100 authentic artifacts, including real-flown aircraft and spacecraft, integrated with 150 hands-on exhibits on aeronautics and space exploration, will dramatically expand our capacity to excite children and lifelong learners about scientific pursuits and discoveries. None of this would have been possible without the dedication of the entire Science Center staff. I wish they could all be here to participate in celebrating this milestone, but the Science Center is open today, and our staff members are busy preparing to host thousands of school kids today as they've started returning to the Science Center. I'd also like to recognize our architects, ZGF, general contractor, Mac Construction, engineering firm Arup, and exhibit designers Evidence Design. We're grateful to be working with such a tremendous and talented project team. The State of California and nonprofit California Science Center Foundation have worked together for decades in a successful public-private partnership with a shared commitment to science education for children, families, and people of all ages across California. Representing the foundation in this partnership, please welcome Chris Wormuth, the chair of the California Science Center Foundation Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Jeff. Wow, it's going to be something. What an honor to be with you all today as together we launch the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center into construction. This incredible project is the California Science Center's biggest endeavor yet. It can only be realized with the active leadership and support of the philanthropic community, along with the commitment of the public sector. Together, we have made great strides in our Endeavour LA campaign, with $280 million raised to date towards our $400 million goal. Much of this progress is due to our visionary lead donors, especially Linda Oschin. And Linda, I'd like to give you my thanks and congratulations also. Thank you so much. It's not only your commitment, but your leadership to this group that is so valued. So thank you. I would also like to thank the many supporters of the Endeavour LA campaign for contributing generously to this educational and inspirational project. Our major donors, who have committed $1 million or more, are listed in your printed program. However, I would like to take just a moment and recognize those at the leadership level, which is $5 million or more, for setting the bar. Ibrahim Al Hefni Technical Train Foundation, with a $5 million commitment, thanks to our wonderful trustee, Suzanne Wright. Korean Air, with a major in-kind contribution of a Boeing 747 aircraft and the support to develop its exhibit experience, which will be a prominent feature of the Air Gallery. Our deep appreciation to the chairman and CEO of Korean Air, Walter Cho. The Weingart Foundation, one of the project's earliest supporters, with a grant of $7.5 million. Very special thanks to our friends Steve Soboroff and Fred Alley. The Amundsen Foundation, another early supporter of the project and long-standing funding partner for the Science Center's master plan, with a substantial gift of $15 million. Our heartfelt gratitude to Bill Amundsen. The Thomas and Dorothy Levy Foundation, who was the first to commit the pivotal gift at the level of $15 million, helping to inspire the support of others. A profound appreciation to Kathleen Duncan and Kathleen McCarthy. Finally, another catalytic contribution to this project was the substantial long-term investment of $75 million by the state of California. We are tremendously grateful to our devoted friends and advocates in the state legislature for their unwavering commitment to the building of the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center as a one-of-a-kind project and educational resource for all the people of California. Now, I'd like to introduce my counterpart, the chair of the California Science Center Board of Directors, Jennifer Lin.
Thank you, Chris. I'm so thrilled to be here this morning. Today's groundbreaking is quite a milestone. It's a shining example of what a successful public-private partnership looks like. It is a product of the collaboration between the state of California and the California Science Center Foundation. I would like to recognize the collective leadership of our board of directors and the board of trustees. Would all the board members please stand? The Science Center is the official science museum for the state of California. It is a world-class resource, educational resource right here in Los Angeles. It's a family destination and has welcomed more than 38 million guests and counting, general admissions free. It is my family's favorite as well. Their favorite exhibits include the kelp forest and the touch tank in the ecosystem exhibit. And recent special exhibits such as the Art of the Brick was another hit. So how can it possibly get any better than this? Well, it's just about to. With the addition of the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center, we will continue to inspire the children of today with the possibility of tomorrow. Today is truly, truly an amazing day. Governor Newsom was unable to join us today, but he sent along a video commemorating today's special occasion. So please turn your attention to the screens for his special remarks.
Hey everybody, it's Governor Gavin Newsom, and let me just express how honored I am to join you for the launch of the California Science Center's Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center construction. You know, today, as you know well, we gathered to mark the 11th anniversary of Space Shuttle Endeavour's final space mission, a project that, well, made its mark on California in so many different ways. Millions and millions of Californians watched as the Space Shuttle Endeavour made its last flight over the state capitol, the Golden Gate, and the Hollywood sign on its way to landing at LAX, with another, I think, 1.5 million people lining up on the streets of LA and Inglewood to watch it as it came to its new home at the California Science Center. Developed and constructed proudly right here on California soil, the Endeavour represents new opportunities for cutting-edge technology, research, exploration, and in many ways just overall hope. Our leadership continues as we send rovers and now a helicopter to Mars. We're building the engines for NASA's new space launch system, satellites that provide with real-time critical data on issues like climate change and fires, as well as drought. Space research has created not just technology for use among the stars, but research from NASA has helped develop prosthetics, aircraft anti-icing technology, and again, even firefighting technology. So with the completion of the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center, the state and the philanthropic community together will have invested somewhere over about $750 million just in this incredible facility. And not only will it be a powerful education resource to inspire our leaders of tomorrow, but it's also, by definition, a major economic boost, creating employment opportunities and, of course, generating lots of tourism. So on behalf of the citizens of our great state of California, thank you. Thank you to the many generous supporters of the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center project. We have achieved this groundbreaking milestone because of all of you, because of your contributions, and together we all will be, I hope, inspiring the next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers.
Our thanks to Governor Newsom for joining us by video to offer his congratulations. Now it's my honor to introduce our next distinguished speaker, who's been a friend of the Science Center since his days serving on the Los Angeles City Council, later in the State Senate, and as Secretary of State. United States Senator Alex Padilla is the first Latino to represent California in the U.S. Senate. He's a true champion for voting rights, climate action, and is deeply dedicated to ensuring that everyone has a fair shot at the American dream. A lifelong Californian with a working-class background and a degree in mechanical engineering from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, we're so fortunate to have a U.S. Senator from California with a mind for math and science and a heart for education and service. Please join me in a warm welcome for Senator Alex Padilla.
Thank you, Jeff, for the invitation to join us today for the kind introduction. How's everybody feeling? I hope you're as excited as I am, because this is a huge day for the Science Center, a huge day for the city of Los Angeles, huge day for the entire state of California. I, too, want to begin by thanking Linda Oschin and all the generous supporters of this tremendous project for making this milestone possible. And I also want to take a moment to reflect on the fact and celebrate the fact that we find ourselves gathered here just south of downtown Los Angeles. The California Science Center intentionally sits squarely in a community that is as diverse as the region and diverse as the entire state of California. And I celebrate the fact that our diverse communities are filled with children who may have the same dreams of space exploration, of discovering the next galaxy, of improving space flight, and pursuing science to apply science to combat the climate crisis. As the governor mentioned, being able to utilize new know-how to reduce the impact of wildfires, to improve how we can mitigate drought impacts and all those sorts of things. And, to be direct, inspiring children who may not exactly see themselves when they're looking at their science or history textbooks. But the future will be different. You know, we should be encouraging more children and diverse children to pursue education and careers in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And hopefully when a few of them graduate from college, they stay in those fields and they don't leave it all behind to run for elected office. Because we need them. If you think about some of the greatest policy challenges that we are facing today, the solutions that we need will be discovered through the spirit of discovery, the ingenuity of the scientific community that the next generation absolutely represents. And if you talk to any astronauts, I've talked to a few over the years, it's as simple as listening to their story of the first time that they saw our planet, Earth, from the perspective of space, and how life-changing it was for them, how much of an awakening and inspiration it was for them to do everything within our power to protect our planet. You know, the Science Center has already inspired, over the course of decades, generations of scientists and engineers. And by the way, I'm one of the too few scientists and engineers in the United States Senate. We need some more. But we know that with the expansion of the Science Center, we will be inspiring future generations and its rightful place right here in California, because California has been the leader in science and space exploration. California is where Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier. California is where Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions were born. California led the way when America reached for the moon. And just to make a note on how well we are positioned to maintain our leadership today and into the future, it was just a couple months ago in April of this year when I visited Vandenberg Space Force Base, along with the Vice President Kamala Harris, to highlight California's leadership in flight and space exploration. So as we enter the new age of technology and exploration, the Oschin Air and Space Center will ensure that future generations of our children are not just included in that legacy, but are leading that legacy. That is what we celebrate here today. So congratulations again to the Science Center on the next great frontier. I've already spoken beyond my 3 minutes, but if I can, just for 60 more seconds, a few words in Spanish for our Spanish language press. El Centro de Ciencias de California se encuentra en esta comunidad igual de diversa que la región de Los Ángeles y todo el estado de California, con intención, porque las comunidades diversas están llenas de niños que tienen los mismos sueños de ser científicos y explorar el espacio que pasadas generaciones. Y con la expansión de este centro de ciencias vamos a inspirar futuras generaciones de ingenieros y científicos para mantener el liderazgo del estado de California en la exploración del espacio, en la innovación de nuevas ciencias y tecnologías que van a ser las soluciones de las pólizas más intensas que estamos viviendo hoy en día, inclusive nuestra lucha contra el cambio climático. Felicidades al Centro de Ciencias. Congratulations again, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. We are so honored to have your participation today and are really grateful for your support of our vision for the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. Now I'd like to introduce another great friend of the California Science Center, someone who, along with his family, we truly consider to be a part of our family. Science Center is proudly rooted here in the heart of LA, and we're delighted to welcome Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you so much, and a very good morning. Muy buenos días a todos. You may know me as either the mayor of your city or son of the immediate past chair of the board, Gil Garcetti. And thank you, Dad, for your service, and thank you for creating me, too. We are so blessed to have such exceptional leaders here, and I want to start with my longtime colleague and friend, Alex Padilla, who's not only an engineer, not only has broken a glass ceiling for the Latino community here in California, but who has been a great American, who's always put a focus on opportunity, and we're so lucky to have him here, together with our great congressional delegation, Maxine Waters, thank you, and Garen Bass, it's wonderful to see you too, Curran Price. It's election season, this is not a political event, so I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you you can vote, and it is just a fact you can vote for Alex Padilla twice in this election, and it's not Chicago, it's legal. There's actually 2 different senatorial elections in the same ballot, so please vote. And we are blessed to have not just leaders in the political realm, but in the civic realm here today. And starting with Linda and going to every single donor, thank you for inspiring us. Thank you to every donor that has stepped up so generously. Thank you to the Cho family and to Korean Air. Thank you to each and every person who has dug deep. There are people who cut a $30 check who are on fixed income, and that's as big of a donation as somebody who has the good fortune of being able to cut a check for millions of dollars, and each of you matter to us. I've also been asked to be the auctioneer because we're 120 million short, so do we have 5 million out there? 5 million. All kidding aside, I know the state, our government, as well as our civic sector will get us there and will take us over the top because this is a day where we bring together what we stand for. Los Angeles is literally a city of angels. It's what we're named for, which means that our orientation has always been to the heavens. But today with this groundbreaking, we point an actual vehicle conceived of, engineered, and built here up to those heavens. Because as Senator Padilla said, that's where we want our children to look. We want a child born in a zip code. My father grew up 2 blocks from here. His house was taken by the 110 freeway, son of Mexican immigrants. A story, whether it's African-American children, Mexican-American children, folks who have been here for generations, people who fled, or even the native people whose land we're on, we know this is a city of belonging, where we look down on this sacred land, but we also look up to those heavens. When George Lucas decided to bring his museum here, the biggest gift of a family in American history for a single museum, he said part of the reason was this museum and this park. Think about it, LAFC, currently in 2nd place. Angel City, our new women's soccer team that broke every record for a women's soccer game attendance here in America. The amazing Coliseum, redone, that will host a 3rd Olympics in just a few years and the first Paralympics. This museum here, which will be the crown, the jewel in the crown, what George Lucas said is imagine going to my museum and somebody walking here because she grows up in this neighborhood. As our senator said, maybe not oriented to thinking that she might be one day an astronaut or an engineer. And she could see how we imagine going into space through the movies in my museum. And then she can walk just down the block and see how we actually made that a reality. And to our astronauts who have touched the heavens, who have inspired us, to folks like Mark Kelly, who I know we'll hear from, and his brother, people who have actually been inside this vehicle, we know that this isn't just about marking history. This is about making sure we make history. So congratulations to the City of Angels. Congratulations to the California Science Center. Felicidades a esta ciudad por la visión y los sueños. Los Ángeles es una ciudad de sueños y de acción. El capital aeroespacial en el mundo. And so we celebrate who we are and what we can be. Let's get over the finish line, and I'll see you when we top off. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mayor Garcetti. We really are thrilled to have your whole family participating with us. Thank you. Now it's my sincere pleasure to introduce our next speaker. You've heard a lot about her. Now you get to hear why we all love her. Philanthropist and civic leader, Mrs. Linda Oschin. The Science Center is deeply grateful for Linda's extraordinary gift commitment from the Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Oschin Family Foundation, and we're truly deeply touched that she's entrusted us with honoring the remarkable legacy of her late husband Samuel through the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. Linda shares our ambitions for a world-class air and space center. She's seen firsthand the tremendous ability of Endeavour to educate and inspire. She believes in the limitless potential of countless young people who will be impacted by the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center for generations to come. Linda's generosity and personal dedication to this project are second to none. I'm thrilled to share this moment of progress with her today as we prepare to break ground. Please welcome our dear friend and incredible supporter, Linda Oschin.
Before I begin, I have a very special thank you. I want to thank my husband, Samuel Oschin, for making all of this possible. I know he's here with us today, watching very carefully what I'm going to say. So, a big thank you to my husband. So, good morning, everybody. I'm glad you made it here on the 10 freeway this morning. Thank you, Jeff, for the kind introduction, and a very special thank you to Senator Padilla and to Mayor Garcetti for the honor of joining us today in this celebration of this tremendous milestone. The beginning of construction on the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. So you may wonder, why did I do this? Why did I get involved with the Science Center? I can tell you one word. It was because of the children. And today is a wonderful reminder of that moment when I saw fifth graders from the Science Center school crazy with excitement as they did a countdown, and in walked the crew of astronauts from Endeavour Spinal Mission. And you will get to see and meet a few of the amazing astronauts who have become great friends and forever part of the California Science Center family. I knew then how powerful the experience would be for millions of young people who would see the space shuttle and be inspired to reach for the stars, empowered to pursue their dreams, and never, ever give up. My husband was passionate about wanting to motivate our youth in the pursuit of knowledge and embrace and sustain the curiosity we all possess. The Endeavour makes tangible my husband's dreams: children, education, inspiration and creativity, science and math, space and astronomy, adventure, exploration, innovation, discovery, engineering, and commitment, all rolled into one, the Endeavour. Already more than 17 million people have visited the California Science Center since Endeavour arrived in 2012 and opened its temporary exhibit in the Samuel Oschin Pavilion. Think back and remember seeing Endeavour's homecoming flight over Los Angeles on the back of the 747 shuttle carrier aircraft. People still talk about where they were for Endeavour's flyover. Some people climbed onto the rooftops of buildings. Classes of kids gathered in schoolyards to watch in awe. The freeways stopped with people standing on top of cars. We actually stopped the 405. Then there was Endeavor's incredible 3-day, 3-night journey through streets of LAX to Exposition Park. And 500,000 people lined the streets of Los Angeles, round the clock, hand in hand, waving the American flag to salute and cheer Endeavour to be a part of history. Those 3 days and nights, there was not one act of violence. And thank you. And then there was more. ET 94's epic voyage by barge through the Panama Canal, the incredible fishing boat rescue at sea, and the complex logistics of ET's move from Marina del Rey through the city streets to the California Science Center. And the best is yet to come. When you see Endeavour, the only authentic space shuttle stack in the world, up close, exhibit vertically, with the 2 solid rocket boosters and the external tank matted together in launch position as if on the launch pad. With Endeavour as its centerpiece, the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center will be one of the world's foremost aerospace museums and an unparalleled educational resource. It will take science learning to new heights with 150 hands-on exhibits exploring scientific principles and engineering concepts, as well as 100 authentic artifacts, including a diverse collection of aircraft and spacecraft. To live in the hearts we leave behind is never to die. We have been and we will continue to be touched and to be blessed by the legacy and by the memory of my husband, Samuel Oschin, a gentleman and a gentle man. And so today, in his honor, we put a shovel in the ground for the new Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. Thank you so very much. What are you doing?
No, I'm just going to give you an update.
Thank you, Linda. You know, you got down now, and I was going to ask you to join me on stage, but I'm not going to make you come back up again. You want to? Okay. We have a little special video message, and I thought that it would be great to have Linda here as we do this. There you go. You got the best escort you could. Linda recalled the day of the title transfer ceremony when NASA transferred ownership of Endeavour to the California Science Center Foundation. One of the astronauts present that day, who the kids were so inspired by, was Mark Kelly, the commander of STS-134, Endeavour's final mission, and now U.S. Senator from Arizona. Senator Kelly wanted to be here today, but he was unable to come to California, but he did ask if we would share a brief video message. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Hey everybody, this is Senator Mark Kelly. I want to give a warm welcome to everybody here today to see the groundbreaking of the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center. This is an exciting day. It's also great to hear that my colleagues are there. Senator Alex Padilla, who I serve with in the United States Senate, and some of my former colleagues. astronauts Greg Chamitoff, Barb Morgan, Garrett Reisman, and Danny Olivas. Now, this is going to be an impressive and fitting home for what I think, by the way, is the best spaceship ever built, Space Shuttle Endeavour. And as many of you know, I have a special connection to this spaceship. I was a pilot on Endeavour on my first trip to space in 2001. And I was also the last commander of Endeavour about 11 years ago today. Actually, I think we landed 11 years ago today, where myself and my pilot, Greg Johnson, and Greg Chamitoff, one of the mission specialists on that mission, came back to Earth. That was my fourth and final trip into space. And boy, I really miss it. And Endeavour had an incredible run over its 25 trips to space. It helped build the International Space Station, and it also repaired the Hubble Space Telescope. Now visitors from all over the country and the world will be able to come and see it. And it's mated to the external tank and the solid rocket boosters, just like it's getting ready to launch into space. This is going to be an incredible thing to see. And I know how much work went into making this possible. So thanks to all that work, kids are going to come to see this and be inspired to be part of the next generation to reach for the moon, Mars, and beyond. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today, and congratulations to the California Science Center.
So it's so meaningful to receive this message from Senator Kelly on the 11th anniversary of Endeavour's final landing. And although we're sorry that he couldn't be with us in person, we are so thrilled to be joined by three of his fellow retired NASA astronauts. Would all of you please join us on the stage? First, Greg Chamitoff, flight engineer and science officer for a 6-month mission aboard the International Space Station during Expeditions 17 and 18, and mission specialist on STS-134, Endeavour's final mission. Barbara Morgan, the first educator astronaut, a mission specialist on STS-118, which is the mission that we've replicated with our configuration of Endeavour's payload. And escorting her, Garrett Reisman, who flew on all 3 space shuttles as a mission specialist, including STS-123 on Endeavour, STS-124 on Discovery, and STS-132 on Atlantis, as well as serving on a 3-month mission aboard the International Space Station as flight engineer on Expeditions 16 and 17. Greg, turn it over to you.
Can you get the picture on the stage?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having us here today. We're very excited to make this presentation. Barbara and Garrett and me, on behalf of Mark Kelly, we just heard from, the rest of the last Endeavour crew, and all that have flown on Endeavour and the other shuttles. So, I can't help but start this off by my first kind of memory with Endeavour in space. I was on the space station. In fact, I took over from Garrett on the space station, and after 6 months in space, it became our it became our home, our life. It's a long time. It's you're living there for a long time, and that's your existence. And of course, I'm looking forward to going back to my family, and then Endeavour is coming. And so I didn't launch with Endeavour. I was at the first time. I was on the space station waiting for Endeavour to come up and bring me home to my family. And it was just the most incredible sight, looking down through one of the nadir-facing windows and to see Endeavour just fly in below the space station and then fly up around the front of it and come in and dock. And then at the end of that mission, Endeavour took me safely back home. And one of our colleagues has said this, and it really is the way I feel, and that is, like when you all drive home today, when you get near your house and your neighborhood, you're going to feel like, okay, we're home. After 6 months in space, it didn't matter where on the Earth we landed. That was home. We were home. And so All right, so I want to tell you about this picture a little bit and what this picture has to do with our time here, our special event that we have here today. So, we all know, we've heard, Endeavour had 25 amazing, successful missions, but then the very last mission, the very last leg of that mission, we're all familiar with that story, right? Because Endeavour made it here, landed in LA, went through the streets, and ended up here at its new home at the California Science Center. So that was the last leg, of Endeavour's missions. But the beginning of that leg, the other side, this is where it started. So this is a picture that I took. This time I launched and landed on Endeavour. This was just a few days before undocking. A picture at night from inside the cupola, looking out at the space shuttle. The cupola is below the space station. It's kind of the part closest to the Earth. And so the neat thing about it is when you're in there, you can see not only the whole Earth, but you can kind of also see the space station, a lot of the space station from there. And so we were looking out at night. Of course, we have 16 nights and days, every day on the space station. But it was night. Everybody was asleep, except for me and one crewmate. And we took this picture of Endeavour. And it's just amazing, amazing moment. And to realize, this vehicle, this is where it belongs. This is where it's at home. And the legacy, I think, of Endeavour and the space shuttle program is not only was it at home in space, but we're at home in space. Space is a home away from home now for us. And I think the legacy of the program is not only to build the space station, but also the know-how, everything that we know how to do now in space that's going to take us back to the moon, to Mars, and everywhere else that we go. So one last thought here is that somebody asked me, what's it going to be like when you look up and you see Endeavour right over here, vertical, as if it was on the launch pad. And the very last time that I saw that, I was walking up to the launch pad with my crew, with Mark, and we were in our spacesuits, and we're walking up to the spaceship, and it's not a static object at that moment. It's living and breathing. It's hissing and smoking and making noises. It's raring to go, and so that feeling is amazing. And it's kind of like we all have grown up with science fiction, and I still find it hard to believe, even though we did it. I find it hard to believe that you can actually put on a spacesuit, walk up to your spaceship, get in the spaceship, and launch into space. I mean, this is something that we do. It's just still amazing. Anyway, that feeling that I had on the launch pad before Endeavour launched, I'm going to feel that again when I see it vertically in the building. It's going to be, it's a dream come true. It's going to feel like a dream come true. And it's going to be hopefully launching the dreams of many, 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 many people for generations to come. So,
thanks, Greg. That was great. Excellent.
Can we get a picture of us? Can we get a picture?
They want a picture first. Oh, there it is.
Take all right there.
Oh, yeah. Glasses on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good? Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Good? You got it?
Okay, great. Thank you.
I got it.
Okay. Oh, Barb,
Don't drop
Make
it.
sure we get
look, you got that? Look up. Thank you.
They want it. No, they want it. Yeah.
Really good things.
I know.
I know.
Do you want to say a minute?
We'd love to, but it's too
Keep it
long.
really brief.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
What are we doing? If we keep it to
Yeah, keep it.
okay, try to keep it to a minute. Greg, you got, oh.
You okay?
Are you going to? It's for the silver. Are you?
So I guess we
Go ahead, Garrett.
okay. You first. Whatever. You want to?
Then you want to stay here?
Then you stay here.
I just wanted to say just a couple quick words. I'll keep this brief since we're running a little late. But I remember when I was about 13 years old, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grow up. I don't know what I would have said if you would have asked me what I'm going to be when I grow up. I never would have said astronaut. I had a mom who was afraid of flying. All right? And all the people I saw flying those Apollo missions were test pilots. And there's no way my mom was going to let me be a test pilot. And when I say she's scared of flying, I don't mean she's scared of flying like on an F-104. She was scared of flying on like United, okay? But not Korean Air. She's very comfortable on Korean Air. Very comfortable. But, but I didn't see anybody in those films that looked like me, right? I was not going to be a test pilot. And so I put it out of my mind as something I was going to do. But when I was about 13, my family took a trip down to Washington, D.C., and we were going to visit all the different sites. And we stopped at the National Air and Space Museum. And after about 2 hours, we went our own ways, and we were going to rendezvous under the Wright Flyer and meet up to go to see all the other sites there. And after about 2 hours, I came back and I said, Mom and Dad, I have to stay. I've only been through 2 of the rooms of this enormous building, and I need to see all of them. And so they said, okay, and they left me there. And they went off, they saw the other sites, and they came back when the museum shut down for the evening. And I said, Mom and Dad, I need to come back tomorrow. And I did. I spent the whole next day there. To this day, I still have never been to the Jefferson Memorial. I'm sure it's very nice, but never been there. But you see, that trip ignited this spark inside of me that led to this passion that led me one day all the way to the launch pad where I looked up at Endeavour, and I got in and I climbed aboard and flew away. And that spark continued to bring me back here to Los Angeles, where I worked for SpaceX to help build the next generation of vehicles to take us into space. And I know that the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center, when it's completed, is going to be a world-class facility that's going to light that spark in not just 1 or 2, but millions of children who will go off and do the next great thing that we accomplish as a human species. And I cannot wait to see this happen. My kids are going to be the first ones in line. Even if we have to camp out for a month in a tent, they're going to be the first ones in there. And I want to thank you, Linda. I want to thank you, Jeff, Allison, Dennis, Ken, Chris, the whole California Science. I'm going to miss Nor, everybody who has played a role in being steadfast supporters through 10 years to get us to where we are today. And I cannot wait to see this all come to fruition. So thank you very, very much.
That's great. Okay, well, I've got to get my 2 cents in too, if that's all right. So Endeavour started her life by being named by school children. And I don't know if everybody knows that, but NASA had a wonderful education program where classrooms all over the country, K through 12, did a lot of research to learn about prior ships of exploration, come up with the one that they felt would be the best to be honored with the name for our newest space shuttle, Endeavour. So that's where she started her life. And then she flew 25 fantastic missions to get us a little closer to the stars, including building the International Space Station and helping repair the Hubble Space Telescope. After she flew her last mission, so after Greg and Mark and crew came back to Earth, I had an opportunity to see our favorite bird, because we all flew on her. I had an opportunity to see her in the vehicle assembly building after she had returned to Earth. And she looked like a sad little tiny tractor over in the corner of this huge building. She'd had all her insides ripped out of her, and she just looked so sad. But then she had a 26th mission, thanks to the wonderful vision and kindness of Linda Oschin and Sam Oschin. And she came out here to California, to the California Science Center, and thanks to Jeff and the entire team. And with the science school, she was grand, and she didn't look like a tired little tractor anymore. She looked like a beautiful, beautiful, brand new, sparkling clean spaceship that was inspiring all these fantastic kids. And now she has a 27th mission that I am so excited about. And that mission, she will be in launch position, so launching dreams of not just the kids, the fabulous kids here at the school, but millions of kids and their families for years and years and years to come, launching them to reach for their stars. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
this your phone or whose phone? Okay. Ah, okay. Yeah. No comment. Our thanks again to astronauts Greg Chama, Barbara Morgan, and Garrett Reisman. Your friendship is truly out of this world. Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center project and the longstanding success of the Science Center involves the support at every level of government. And we're fortunate to have so many elected officials among our great supporters, many of them here today. We've already had the honor of hearing from Senator Padilla and Mayor Garcetti, and we'll hear from a few more of our wonderful elected officials in a few minutes. I do just want to recognize a couple that you may not get a chance to hear from. The former First Lady of California, Gail Wilson, is here. Been a tremendous supporter since the day we opened the Science Center in 1998. LA City Council member Carmen Price was recognized. He had to leave already, but we thank him very much for coming. And former California State Senator Rod Wright has been a champion for many years. As mentioned earlier by Governor Newsom, with the completion of the $400 million Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center, the California Science Center, through its master plan, will have invested over $750 million in creating an incredible science learning facility here in Exposition Park. I'd like to offer a special acknowledgement to one legislator who I kind of honestly say started it all. Congresswoman Maxine Waters has long advocated for the Science Center as part of the state's educational infrastructure and a vital part of the South Los Angeles community. Since her days in the California State Assembly, she provided the direction and funding to develop a master plan that led to the transformation of the former California Museum of Science and Industry into today's world-class California Science Center. Congresswoman Waters, will you do the honor of saying a couple of words?
I'd like first to thank Jeff for that generous introduction. As I sat here this morning witnessing the beginning of the program and those who have participated in this ceremony, my heart was just beating so fast. My heart was beating so fast as I was thinking about what this park and what this museum was like before Jeff Rudolph decided that he single-handedly was going to change things. I've never worked with or experienced any public servant who was so dedicated that they would devote their entire career not only to changing the face of this footprint, but this particular gentleman, who we all know, we all love, knows how to beg for money better than anybody I've ever met. And so it really was because of him that I began to understand what was possible. So in 1988, I encouraged the Museum of Science and Industry and its board to develop a master plan to revitalize not only the museum, but all of Exposition Park. At the time, the museum was a mess, and Exposition Park was almost a disgrace, a major state park in horrible condition. Neither the museum nor park would have been tolerated if they were in more affluent parts of the state. But being in South LA, they were left in a state of disrepair. And so, before I say another word, I'd like to thank Linda and Samuel Oschin for their vision, for their support. What they have done goes beyond contribution or support. They have literally been the backbone of this entire transformation. Let's give them another round of applause. And so, when you hear about the amount of money that has been raised and the amount of money that's been into this overall project, the Samuel Oschin Air and Space Center, and this groundbreaking today, it started with a mere $250,000 that I was able to secure for the design of the master plan. And I believed that we absolutely needed a master plan because many people don't know that this footprint was basically threatened in so many different ways. Rod Wright, I believe, who worked for me at the time, long before he was elected to office, was a part of what we were involved with. And I remember the fight that we had in order to make sure that the security here was what it should be, where when there was an opportunity being put forth by some to strip the security as we knew it and as we knew it should be, and to support those who had been dedicated but who had been overlooked and was about to be kicked out. In addition to that, I don't know if Jeff remembers, there was some discussion about getting rid of the Rose Garden altogether. And that was an elected official whose name I won't call, who had that idea. And I want to tell you, I never knew that I was so passionate about the museum and the park until I heard about the idea of stripping the park of the Rose Garden. And I said, that's not going to happen. It will happen over my dead body. And so I'm still alive. And so it did not happen. And so in 1989, the legislature adopted the 25-year master plan. By 1993, the state made an investment of $41 million for the first phase of the California Science Center. And that's because of Jeff's leadership and the ability for me to work with my colleagues, mostly Willie Brown, Mike Roos, Mr. Alatorre, and a few of them who held influential positions in the legislature, and of course, Willie Brown as a speaker. And so, one of the proudest moments in all of this, when Jeff and I was invited to come to Chicago, and that was June of 1993, the American Institute Architects presented us with the urban design of excellence for the master plan. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than that. Thank you very much.